You are listening to STR, the Sandy Times Radio. Culture, music, and beyond.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Pulp Fiction by the Sandy Times, the only podcast where we get irrationally emotional about footwear and tell ourselves it counts as journalism. I'm Dara Morgan, chief editor at the Sandy Times, and I'll be your guide through the stories, scandals, and stilettos that made fashion history. Today, we dive deep into the timeless elegance of the Chanel two-tone Slingback, a shoe so deceptively simple, so effortlessly chic, that it managed to outlast wars, revolutions, and at least 3 fashion cycles declaring heels obsolete. Let's be honest, the beige and black cap-toe Slingback isn't just a shoe. It's a thesis on ease, a masterclass in optical illusion, and a reminder that sometimes the most radical statement is also the quietest. The year is 1957. Dior's new look still dominates Paris, squeezing women's waists and putting them in stilettos. And of course, Gabrielle Chanel looks at all that hyper-femininity and thinks, non, merci. She had just relaunched her house in 1954 after World War II, at a time when many had written her off as passé. But Coco didn't do nostalgia, she did disruption dressed up as understatement. And in 1957, she dropped what would become one of the most famous shoes of all time, the two-tone Slingback. Now, let's be clear, the idea didn't come out of nowhere. Chanel herself had been spotted wearing black and white versions back in the 1930s. In one photograph, the shoes are already peeking out, almost like a teaser trailer before the full release. So by 1957, this was less an invention than a perfected recipe finally shared with the world. The design was genius in its practicality. A beige leather body that elongated the leg, capped with a black toe that not only shortened the foot visually, but also hid scuffs. Because real life has sidewalks, not just red carpets. A 5 cm block heel gave just enough lift without demanding a pod wrist on speed dial. And the elastic Slingback strap meant no fiddly buckles, just slip on and go. The press went wild, calling it Cinderella's new slipper, which frankly undersells it. Cinderella's slipper was fragile glass designed to be lost on a staircase. Chanel's Slingback was designed to survive the staircase, and then the cocktails, and then the subway home. It was a fairy tale rewritten for the woman who had no time for fairy tales. And behind the curtain, the craftsmanship of the Parisian shoemaker Massaro. Founded in 1894, Massaro had already been making bespoke shoes for the most demanding clients in Paris. With Chanel, they co-created not just a shoe but a symbol. The savoir-faire was meticulous. Supple beige leather, a resilient gross-grain toe, stitching so clean it looked inevitable. Even today, Massaro remains Chanel's partner, proving that timelessness isn't just in design, it's in the hands that make it. But why was this shoe such a revolution? To answer that, we have to zoom out to Coco Chanel herself. Chanel was never in the business of making women look ornamental. She was in the business of giving them freedom, of movement, of breath, of life. She cut women loose from corsets in the 1910s, gave them practical jerseys, functional tweeds, and the little black dress that would become the uniform of modern chic. Her mantra was subtraction, strip away what is unnecessary until only elegance remains. By the mid-1950s, Dior's new look was the height of fashion. Nipped waists, padded hips, and stilettos that turned sidewalks into obstacle courses. Beautiful? Yes, but also suffocating. Chanel, at 71, returned to the fashion scene with a mission to remind the world that elegance could also mean ease. The two-tone Slingback was a manifesto disguised as a shoe. It was a rejection of matchy-matchy footwear rules. No more hunting for pumps that exactly matched your dress. Instead, Coco offered a versatile neutral, beige and black, suitable for everything from day wear to dinner. She even spelled it out herself. You live in the morning with beige and black. You dine with beige and black. You go for a cocktail with beige and black. You're dressed from morning to evening. In other words, one shoe, endless lives. And let's not forget the subtle gender bending. Two-tone shoes had long been associated with men's wardrobes. Think wingtips and spectators worn by jazz musicians and dandies. Chanel took that language and recoded it for women, sharp, modern, but never masculine in a borrowed suit way. Instead, she made it feminine without fragility. The slingback was also an act of quiet rebellion against the stiletto. Where Dior's shoes were designed to exaggerate femininity, Chanel's design acknowledged practicality. It let women walk, actually walk, through their days without being punished for existing. And that was Coco's entire philosophy. Clothes should liberate women, not bind them. The slingback was just another chapter in her lifelong manifesto. Fast forward a few decades. The year is 1983, and Chanel as a brand is losing its spark. Enter Karl Lagerfeld. Ponytail, sunglasses, fan, with a talent for reviving heritage without embalming it. Karl understood the power of Chanel's codes, tweed, quilting, and yes, the two-tone shoe. But instead of treating them like museum pieces, he treated them like building blocks. He reimagined the slingback endlessly. Ballerina flats in 1986 that became cult classics, espadrilles for summer, thigh-high boots with capped toes, even cheeky transparent PVC versions. He made the shoe not just timeless, but versatile enough to live through the wild aesthetic swings of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And then came 2015. For his fall-winter ready-to-wear show, Lagerfeld recreated a full Parisian brasserie inside the Grand Palais. Models strolled between cafe tables in tweeds, blouses, and nearly all of them wore the slingback. It wasn't just a shoe, it was a uniform, a cultural reference point. Karl called it the most modern shoe, which makes legs look beautiful, and under his watch it became shorthand for modern Chanel itself. When Karl passed in 2019, Virginie Viard took over as artistic director. Quieter than Karl, but deeply respectful of the codes, she has kept the slingback central. Laced versions for couture, Mary Jane interpretations, seasonal colors and fabrics, all while keeping that unmistakable silhouette. And through it all, Massaro stayed a key partner shaping the craft and spirit of the slingback. From Coco's first sketches to Virginie's recent updates, the shoe has been less a product than a dialogue across decades. A shoe becomes iconic when it leaves footprints on culture, and the two-tone slingback has a whole red carpet of them. In the late 50s and 60s, it graced the feet of French cinema royalty: Jean Moreau, Catherine Deneuve, Romy Schneider, Brigitte Bardot. Jane Fonda wore them too, proof that they appeal crossed continents. Jackie Kennedy favored them, adding a dash of understated Parisian chic to her American polish. By the 80s, Princess Diana had embraced the slingback as part of her public wardrobe. Later, Meghan Markle followed suit, bringing the design back into royal headlines. Princess Beatrice wore them to royal Ascot, proving that even among fascinators and formality, the slingback quietly holds its ground. In Hollywood and the fashion world, the list is endless. Kristen Stewart, Chanel ambassador and red carpet rebelle, pairs them with micro-shorts and tuxedo jackets, turning the classic into something punk. Lily Rose Depp wears them with jeans and slip dresses, channeling both Paris and Los Angeles. Alexa Chung, Gigi Hadid, countless editors and influencers all have demonstrated the shoe's miraculous ability to elevate denim or soften couture. Chanel's two-tone slingback has become a cultural symbol of Parisian chic, of understated elegance, of the idea that one good shoe can outlast trends, algorithms, and bad lighting. It has even entered resale legend. Vintage pairs fetch strong prices, prized not just for their design but for their patina, proof of lives lived well in them. The slingback has become more than footwear. It's shorthand for a certain kind of woman, confident, modern, elegant, but unbothered. The kind of woman who, if her taxi never comes, can walk home anyway. And that's the story of the Chanel two-tone slingback, a shoe born from Coco Chanel's radical vision of elegance with ease, carried through decades by Karl Lagerfeld and Virginie Viard, and immortalized by everyone from Brigitte Bardot to Princess Diana to Kristen Stewart. A beige and black invention that managed to change fashion not with fireworks, but with quiet, relentless practicality. Thanks for listening to Pulp Fiction. Next week, tune in for the story of the Maison Margiela Tabby boot. Not a pump exactly, but a shoe that marched from avant-garde oddity to viral TikTok sensation, complete with hooves, history, and hot takes. Until then, keep strutting, even if you are barefoot.